Hey Matt, what's the challenge with getting Julian Blackmon up to speed? And I know he's missed some time, but now that you have him back, what's the challenge just in getting him going?
Well, it's just the process with Alan Williams being able to do the cone drills, going through the checklist that you need to go through as a defensive player, learning the call and then going from the call and then getting your adjustments by formation. And the calls need that's a big communication position for us that they need to set the defense with the linebackers and get the secondary all squared away. So I think that really for him, it's basically just getting comfortable doing that. He's a talented player that has functional intelligence, and he's picking up the schemes really well. And we have no doubt that he's going to be awesome once he gets in there. We just got to get him through the process of it, and he's doing that right now with Allen.
I know you guys liked his versatility and his positional versatility. With the rookie, can you teach that into it, or does he need to start in one spot first?
Yeah, that's a good question. Typically, what we'll do is we'll get him, solidified in a spot so he feels comfortable, and then as we do that, we'll look at his abilities in terms of his one-on-one abilities, in terms of his range and blitzing ability and different things that he could do for us, play different spots. And we kind of get a feel for that as we go. And we already kind of know that with him based on the evaluation we had with Chris and that's in the scouting staff. So, we're trying to accelerate that as fast as we can.
Mike Chappell.
Matt, I'm wondering with the week where the roster needs to be finalized, how do you describe your input on, hey, I'd like to keep X number of linebackers. Can they play special teams? I need X number of corners. Can they play? How does your input factor into that?
I think it's a collaborative group effort, with the assistant coaches and the coordinators on both sides of the ball. Bubba Ventrone weighs in with the special teams aspect along with Frankie, and then it ultimately comes down to Frank and Chris, and they make that decision. But in terms of like packages and playing time, those things are all discussed during those decision-making times as we get to Saturday here. So, this is always a tough week for us because we have to make some tough decisions, and we know that, with the guys that we have a more experienced roster now, so it's a little bit harder to make those decisions. And every year is hard, but it's a little bit more difficult this year, just because you have guys that have a lot more, may have more playing time and more experience, and guys that we brought in are also good prospects as well.
Just a quick follow-up. I realize this is, the buck stops on Chris's desk. He makes the calls. I assume you're confident that your input matters and you are listened to?
I would say that's true throughout the organization. I mean, that's set up from the top, from Mr. Irsay all the way down. That communication and everybody's voice is heard. That's made known from the beginning, that everybody's input matters, that there should be no filter on your input, that you should be able to speak your voice, and you should be able to know that your opinion does matter. And that's a philosophy and a standard that's been set here for the Colts for a long time. And it continues to be that way.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Phil B.
Hey, Matt, thank you for your time. When we talked to Nick Sirianni, he talks about the offense taking what the defense gives them. On defense, what mantra or what do you preach to your guys? What's the fundamental philosophy that makes your defense tick?
Yeah, so we basically talk about a few things, but, and you guys have heard me say this a couple of times, but the core philosophy is that we're going to hustle. That's number one. You should be able to see that in our defense. We play with really good intensity. We're efficient at taking the football away, and we want to be smart situational players. And that's been our mantra since we've been here, and that'll continue to be the same. We're working on a lot of different aspects of our defense right now because we do have more experience at other positions, and we're continuing to do that this week. One of the main things this week we're working on with our players is that we've got with each coach and each player, and we said that, hey, let's work on 2 fundamentals in your technique that you need to get better on based on the cut-ups from training camp. And the guys are doing that as we speak. We want to work on a couple other things, a couple new concepts, a couple variations that we look at defensively, so to stimulate them mentally, but we want to stimulate them technically more than anything. And if we can get that done in the next 3 days, the guys improve, on 2 or 3 techniques. If it's Justin Houston or Darius or a guy that's on the back part of the roster, he needs to know what he needs to improve on and work with his coach to get that done.
Thank you, Coach.
Zach Kiefer.
Matt, I'm a little surprised we didn't hear alignment, assignment, key, and technique there.
I'm glad you know that. See, that sticks to the brain, doesn't it? That's
good. How you play defense, right? Xavier Rhodes, sometimes it's hard for us to get an evaluation on a cornerback. Sometimes they don't get a lot of looks. Sometimes the quarterbacks don't go their way. What have you seen from him now that he's been on the field with you guys for about a month?
Yeah, he's doing well. I mean, Xavier is working on his technique, and that's something that when he does it really well, he's a really efficient player in his man covers and the techniques that he's done before. And now he's learning how to play various techniques to give him some variation to what he's doing out there. And I think that's going to help him a lot to be able to give him some variation to what he's doing in terms of playing zone, playing cover 2, playing some cover 3, whatever that is, and then playing some man as well. So he's been working hard with Jonathan and David back there in the back end. Those guys are doing well.
Kevin Bone. Hey, Kevin, we can't hear you. Kevin, we'll come back. Stephen Holder.
Hey, Matt, can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Hi, Steve.
Okay. Hey, I apologize if someone already asked this. I got on a little late, but can you kind of tell us what you anticipate Julian Blackmon's role being this year? And maybe it's too early to know, but you obviously have established safeties. Where do you think, and how do you think he can help you?
Yeah, I think that's just an ongoing process, Stephen. I think that, right now we're just seeing where he is health-wise. And we know that it's going to be a while before he gets back. Now, what that definition of a while means, I don't know. Is that a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? I don't know. But we're just evaluating that. Yesterday was his first day coming back and getting some limited reps. And with any player that we bring back, his pitch count is his pitch count, and he's going to be able to adjust that based on how he feels with the training staff, and we'll go from there. But we like what we see so far. His movement skills are exactly what we thought in terms of coming out of college, and his functional intelligence is super high, and his character is through the roof as well. So he has all the things that we look for here at the Colts, and we're excited about having him. And what his role is will be defined based on how he produces on the football field and on the practice field.
Kevin Bone.
Hey, Matt, can you hear me?
Yes, Kevin, I can hear you.
Sorry about that. I know you haven't had Toure yet. What is the void there from a pass rush standpoint when he's not on the field, and what have you seen in general from your pass rush unit here in camp?
Yeah, they're doing well. I mean, they guys have been in there, and who's ever in there playing for us, the 8 or 9 guys that we have up for the game are going to be playing, and then they all know they have a role. If it's a first and second down role, they have that. If it's a third down pass rushing role, they have that. Guys that have filled in have done a nice job with that. And again, when Toure comes back, he's going to have to compete for the spot, and that's every week. So it's all based on your production throughout the course of the games, and also how you look in practice. And your work patterns in practice are going to determine how much you play. And I know I've said that several times, but that's just the way it goes. But we're excited about where he is in his rehab and to get him back. And we know what he's capable of doing. And we're certainly excited to see that again.